Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Maddie. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am doing my February TBR, which includes my blinko inspired TBR game called Blinko. I did pretty well with reading the books that I picked last month. We'll talk about that obviously in my January wrap-up, which I'm doing. I'm doing a wrap-up. How proud of me are you? I'm proud of myself, honestly. But the last couple months, aside from January, I've been not doing well with actually reading the books that I've been picking in the prompts. So I did pretty well in January and I'm hoping to do well again this month. So before I can pick the books that I want to read this month, I need to find out what the prompts are. So let's just go ahead and do the first puck drop. So the first prompt is a mood read, and I think I'm just gonna hang on to this one. This will be my little freebie for the month. Picking a book to fit a mood read kind of defeats the whole purpose of mood reading. I have some ideas of what I want to use this for. One is This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. That is a book I would really like to get to this year. I've had it on my TBR forever, basically since I've heard about it, and I own it physically and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I would really like to get to that one. Also, I've been really wanting to get to Our Share of Night. I have it physically as well, and I've just been really pulled to big chunky books this winter because I've been spending so much time reading. So that's another option, but I will let you know what I end up picking for this when I do my wrap up. Let's find out what the next prompt is going to be. The next prompt is a repeat author, and for this one, I think I'm going to choose Catcher in a Ward and try to get to Looking Glass Sound this month. This is another one that I really would like to get to this year. It's kind of a carryover from last year. I was super excited for it when it first got released, but because I didn't pick it up right when it came out, my excitement just kind of got distracted. I just focused on other books and this one kind of fell to the wayside. So I'm determined to pick it up this year and I'm going to try and read it this month. The synopsis of this one is a little convoluted, as all of Catcher in a Ward books are. You have an author talking about his childhood and some things that happened in his town. I think there was like a murder or something like that. And then another piece of this is that one of his childhood friends has stolen his memoir and is selling it as a best-selling novel. I could be butchering that. It's not going to be that straightforward. I already know. Like, I don't need to know what this book is about. I have a general idea because I've talked about it on my channel a couple times, but I'm going to read whatever Catcher in a Ward comes out with. So I have heard mixed things about it. I know people that have absolutely loved it and it was 5-star reads for them. I know people that absolutely hated it. So when I hear about a polarizing book, even if it's not from one of my favorite authors, I really like to read it and find out where I land, because the FOMO just gets to me and I just like knowing where I stand with certain books, especially if there's a big divide. So I will definitely be trying to pick up this book this month. Let's see what the next prompt is. So this prompt is kind of interesting. It is roll a dice and read a book with that many words in the title. So let's go ahead and roll the dice to find out how many words in a title I need to find a book that matches.
So I have my die. I didn't realize when I was making that prompt if I had a dice or not. Thankfully we have Clue and I just stole it from there. So I'm gonna roll it and see. That's not what I was expecting. But I guess we're gonna find a one-word title. Let's see what we can find.
Okay, so I rolled a 1, as you saw, and initially I was kind of disappointed because I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time with that, but then I realized that we're currently doing a poll for the next book that we're gonna read for my book club with Mary, The Horror Hideout. I'll add the Fable link down below if you're interested, but the two books that we are trying to decide between right now. Both have one word in the title. So this will be my book club pick this month, whatever one ends up winning. So the first one is Severance and the other one is Ling Hun. So I think right now Severance is winning, which I'm totally fine with. Honestly, I'm good reading either of those. Both of them are on my TBR. But if Ling Hun doesn't win, then I might use my mood read card for it because I do really want to get to it. So we'll see. This roll a die prompt, I don't have an answer for, but it'll be either Severance or Ling Hun. I'll let you know in my wrap up what ends up getting picked. So far, this TBR is turning out to be a lot more up in the air than it usually is. I have like 2 prompts out of 3 so far that I don't have a solid book pick for. So let's hope this next prompt will give me a book that I can actually make a decision on. So the next prompt is an ebook. So when I asked for a prompt to help me make a decision on a book, I didn't think that I would get this broad of a prompt. This literally could be any book, that like pretty much. So I think for this one, I'm going to pick a book from my 12 for 12 that I'm trying to do, and also a book that I will not be purchasing physically and can't get from the library. So I think for this one, I'm going to pick A Court of Blood and Bindings, which... So my best friend recommended this for me for my 12 for 12. This book seems very high fantasy. I know it's about fae, and I'm open-minded. I'm going to read it, but it's not my usual cup of tea, and I did just DNF a book that was around the same themes. It wasn't the same in terms of like, I think this one is a little bit more like war and political. The one I DNF'd was just like more fantasy, I think. But they both were like fae themes. And it's just not my cup of tea. Honestly, I don't know. So I'm not going in super optimistic, but I know she rated it 5 stars. So hopefully it works for me. I'm going to give it a chance. Like, I'm going to give it a solid college try. And I'm not against DNFing, but I'm really going to try not to. So that's what I'm going to pick. The ratings on Goodreads are really good. Truthfully, I think it's over 4 stars at the average. So, I mean, it's a good sign. I'm just going in with like preconceived notions on those types of books and me knowing I don't really like those types of books. So I'm going to give it a chance and see how it goes. Maybe this will turn me into a high fantasy girly. And if it does, then this is a perfect appetizer for ACOTAR, which I'm gonna have to read, spoiler alert, sometime this year, as that is another 12 for 12. So that is what I'm going to pick for my ebook prompt. Let's find out what the last prompt is going to be. So the last prompt is a book with mixed media elements, and for this one I'm going to pick Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. I do own this physically. It's not up there. It's in my other bookshelf. This is another one, along with Looking Glass Sound, that I was so pumped for when it first came out, and because I didn't read it when it first came out, my energy just dissipated, and it's like whatever's the new sparkly toy, I'm like, that's where my attention is. So I'm circling back, and I really would like to pick this up. It is about a reality TV ghost hunting show, and in theory this should be a 5-star read. It has the reality TV element, which I'm obsessed with. I love reality TV, and in books, so fun. It has the ghost paranormal aspect, which I also love, and it has the haunted house sort of trope involved in there as well. So based on all of those things, plus I really like mixed media books, they just keep my attention, this should be a 5-star read. However, I've seen such mixed reviews. It's similar, it's kind of how I feel with Looking Glass Sound too, where I was really amped up about it, and then I saw a couple of like not so great reviews, and then I kind of lost my oomph about them. So I just gotta stop letting other people's reviews influence me so much. That's the moral of the story here. So I'm gonna pick that one up as well. And I think this TBR is a little bit more horror heavy than last month, which I'm happy about. I enjoyed my reads last month. I'll talk about them obviously in my wrap up. I don't want to get into it too much, but last month was a lot of fantasy and just like other like weird fiction. So I have, what do I have? Possibly Lincoln, possibly a mood read. That's going to be horror. I have Looking Glass Sound and episode 13. So truthfully, the only book that isn't horror in this is my 12 for 12. So pretty good TBR. I know I said I'm going to read less horror, but I had a pretty like light horror month last month, so I'm happy to read more horror this month. I do miss it a little bit, truthfully, so looking forward to that. Also, I have been very much getting into graphic novels. I picked up one completely on a like random impulse when I was at the library picking up one of my holds, and I freaking loved it. It has got me so on a mood to read graphic novels. After that, I ended up picking the first graphic novel in the Heartstopper series. I don't want to get into a wrap up right now, but the trajectory here is that I want to keep reading more graphic novels. So I went on my library's website and I put so many on hold. So there's 3 that I might read next month. Well, I'm probably going to read them because I'm pretty sure they're coming in from the library. What are they called? Hold on, I'm going to find the titles. So I don't have the authors, but I do have the titles. So one is called Seek You, the other one is called Ghost World, and the third one is called The Hard Tomorrow. So I plan to read all 3 of those next month, hopefully. And maybe I'll sneak in other graphic novels because it is my new fixation. I'm obsessed, so expect to see more graphic novels from me. So I think that's everything. Those are all of the books that I'm planning to read this February. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them. As always, thank you so much for being here and sticking around all the way until the end. I really appreciate you. If you like this video and want to support my channel, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps me out. And if you want to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, no hard feelings. I will see you again next Friday for another video. Bye.